You're also Minister for the Pacific and International Development. A big change yesterday for the Pacific Labor scheme and also the seasonal worker program. They've played quite an important role in the ag sector during this COVID period, haven't they?
Yeah, huge. We restarted. Those schemes were suspended early on in COVID. We restarted them in September of last year. We've brought in over 11,000 Pacific workers under that scheme, and some had already remained. So there's over 15,000 Pacific workers in Australia right now, and that is obviously very, very important, particularly to our agricultural sector, but also in other areas. And what we've
announced... It's important to the region as well in terms of remittances going home, isn't it?
Huge. There are some nations where remittances are the biggest factor in their economy. So obviously tourism has been decimated, and we want to see over the next few months, over time, as things get better, obviously we want to see travel resume. Yeah. We want to see that happening, but in the short term, this is critical to those economies and it's critical to our economy, because without these Pacific workers, it's very difficult for our farmers to operate. We're going to bring another 1,600 in the next month, and we've got a goal from August to have an extra 12,500. We're about 2,000 into that 12,500 goal. So another 10,000 by March is what we're aiming for. And the reforms we announced make it easier for employers. They mean they can double the cap. Market testing lasts for 12 months rather than 6 months. The age cap of 45 years is removed. There's a whole range of common sense changes that'll make it easier. But going forward, it's going to be continuing to work with states and territories to make sure that either quarantine or some other measures as we move to next phases of the national plan, when we get to 70 and 80%, allow people to come in.
It's not far off, is it, for those, as you said, those benchmarks? Sydney passed 70% for the first dose.
Yeah, they're at 80.
Sorry, 80%, I should have said. They're at 80% first dose now. And the ACT just behind that in terms of first dose, over 50% now in double dose.
Indeed.
How soon would you like to see that travel corridor open, not just to New Zealand, but to Fiji and other nations, as you said quite rightly, decimated in terms of their tourism industry?
Well, I think pretty soon. And I think those are discussions we'll be having in the coming weeks as we look at what this next phase looks like. Fiji, for instance, has announced that they will be opening up to other countries to come in, I think, around November. So obviously we may not make the decision right when they open up, but I think we'd want to be in the game pretty soon after, because obviously a lot of Australians would like to go there. It needs to be done in the right way. There'll be all sorts of rules around it. But also, Fiji has very high vaccination rates at the moment, 96, 97% first dose. So, look, the situation is going to change rapidly over these next few weeks and months, and I'm keen, obviously, to see it happen. It's great for Australians and it's great for our region as well.
Zed Seselja, thank you as always.
Thanks very much,
Minister for the Pacific and International Development.